What's going on, guys? Welcome to Station 3 Productions. And today we're going to be making a custom iPhone case by using the swirl dip method. So stick around, stay tuned, and we'll get right to it. Alright guys, well, just like I said, we're going to make a custom iPhone case. But you're gonna need a few things before we get started, and we're gonna need at least 1,000 to 2,000 grit sandpaper, and all this stuff will make sense in a minute. I need some gloves because this gets a little messy. We're gonna need whatever color paint. This is Rust-Oleum. But make sure it's enamel paint, though. That's the best way to go. And with the Rust-Oleum enamel paint, you're going to need Rust-Oleum clear coat and Rust-Oleum gloss black. At least for this application right here. I mean, there's, millions of other combinations you can do, but this is what I have today. So now, what you're going to do, you're going to need a Tupperware dish, something big enough so that there's enough room in there so you can dip this and fully submerge this underwater. Now, what you're going to do, you're going to take your 2,000 grit or 1,000 grit sandpaper and make sure you just lightly sand this cover, because the way it is right now, it has a gloss shine to it, and you kind of don't want that because the paint won't stick to it. So what you're going to do is just use your sandpaper and just lightly scuff that gloss off of there. And then what we're going to do is, after that's all done, go clean it off. Make sure you get all the dirt and grime and dust and all that. Make sure it's all clean. We're going to shoot a couple of coats of the black paint back on, because what you're going to do with that is you're going to cover up all the scratches and all that good stuff. Then we are going to go and get some water. Now, the secret to this and to make this work is all in the temperature of the water. If your water is too cold, it will not work. If your water is too hot, it will not work. So you got to try to gauge between 78 and 80 degrees in this water. If you have like a cooking thermometer or some way to gauge the temperature, it's a lot easier. Excuse me. I personally don't have that. I sort of just guess at it, but I've done this a few times and it seems to work out. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go get the water, and I'll sand this off real quick, and then we'll get to the next steps. Alright guys, now I went and I sanded this completely off. Hopefully I got this in the shot. With 2,000 grit sandpaper, and like I said before, you can even use 1,000 grit. 1,000, 2,000, something like that, but you don't want to get nothing too rough, because like I said before, it'll gouge the plastic and then it causes all sort of problems. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take this tub, we're going to put the hot water in this, and then when I come back, I will show you the next process on how to swirl dip with your paint. And this is the tricky part, because like I said earlier, once again, the water has to be between 78 and 80 degrees. This is where things start getting touchy, because, you know, once again, if the water's too hot, it doesn't work, and if it's too cold, it doesn't work. So we got to try to kind of play around with that and see how this works. So I'll be right back in a couple minutes. Alright guys, now right here is where the magic happens. So what we're going to do is take a little bit of paint, after you stir your paint up of course. Then what we're going to do is just drop some in there, like so. Trust me, it doesn't take much. And then what we're going to do is dip this bad boy right in there. Let's see how this works. You gotta go nice and slow. And make sure you push that all the way under the water, fully submerge it. And then while it's underwater, just take your hands and you got to move all the paint out of the way before you pull it back out. And then hopefully you guys can see that. And there you go. Now what I'm going to do is run over here and set this down, and then I'll be right back in 1 second. There we go. Now I'll come over here. 1 second, gotta get these gloves off. Don't want this stuff all over the camera. Alright. And then come over here. Hopefully you guys can see that. There you go. Now you got your own custom iPhone case or Android case, or you know, whatever. I mean, the concept's all the same. So, boy, sorry about the messy camera work here, but holy, sorry about that, guys. I don't know. Here we go. Sorry about all that. But anyhow, now the next step and the final process is to let this dry at least 8 to 10 hours, and 24 hours is going to be a heck of a lot better. But anyhow, what we're going to do then is take the clear coat, the Rust-Oleum clear coat. We're going to shoot that over there. Probably 2 or 3 coats, you know, light coats or whatever, and it will seal that paint in. And then, you know, it makes it quite a bit more durable. So, alright, let me move you guys around real quick. Alright guys, now, and when it's all said and done, I will leave a couple of pictures at the end of this video so you can see the final product or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's simple and to the point. I mean, like I said early on, you just have to play around with the water temperature, because that's where it's all at. Between 78 and 80 degrees You know, somewhere in that area, you should do just fine. So now, we'll do a recap real quick. All you need is your cell phone case, 1,000 to 2,000 grit sandpaper. What you want to do is go through there and knock off that gloss a little bit. Now, like in this case right here, it's a black case, so all I did was just spray paint gloss black Rust-Oleum. Now if you have like a white case, all you gotta do is just shoot over white, and then you just use colors that would go with that. And then I lost my train of thought. Oh, there we go. I still got my lid open here. I gotta be careful. Use the Rust-Oleum enamel paint, and make sure you're using enamel all the way through. You know, for the base coat, and then of course the swirl coat, the swirl color. Make sure it's all enamel. Check your temperature, and when it's all said and done, you know, make sure it's completely dry, and then of course take a couple of take your clear coat and do 2 or 3 light coats over top of that. Let that completely dry so it'll seal up the paint, and then you should be good to go after that. I mean, it's a pretty cool project. You know, it's one of them trial and error kind of things. I mean, that's how I ended up doing it. So, there you guys have it. I hope it helps you guys. You know, it's going to be a lot cheaper to make your own than to go out and spend a bunch of money on getting something that's already custom made, when you could have just did it at home, you know. And it's a lot of fun. You know, and iPhone cases, you know, phone cases or whatever, is just the beginning, because you can do this with like a million different things, you know, around the house or whatever. So, like I said, I hope that helped you guys out a little bit. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and I will get back with you ASAP. So, before you go, make sure you hit the subscribe button for more content if you haven't done so already. And by all means, make sure you hit that bell. It's either up here in this corner or right down below where the subscribe button is. Make sure you check out all the links below. Come back next Friday and we'll have something else to talk about. So until then, take care, be safe, and always support your local fire department.